Space is impassable. Space, like the Arctic and Antarctic zones, are environmentally hostile zones. Space is hostile to the human environment. What we see in space are only projections. Space is speculation. We send whoever we want into space, and their return is almost impossible. Living in space is impossible, because space is an environment hostile to human beings. Traveling in space is an impossible mission. First, because space travel is hardly real. For this reason, space travel is most of the time fictitious travel. It is said that the fruits of space travel are technological spin-offs, and it is true. The space quest is good for our technological inventions, like technological weapons, but also all technology in general. The fruits of the space quest are robotization. We do not really travel in space because space is a lawless zone. We only send robots into space to study the universe and its components. The Earth is a Middle Earth. We can therefore speak of Mother Earth, like the center of the universe. The Earth is geocentric. The Earth does not move. The Earth is the center of the universe, and space objects, such as the Moon and the Sun, orbit around us. What moves are the living and the stars. The Earth does not move. I speak of geocentrism as you speak of heliocentrism. Joshua 10 verses 12 to 14 says, "Then Joshua spoke to the Lord, on the day that the Lord delivered the Amorites before the children of Israel, and he said in the sight of Israel, Sun, stand still on Gibeon, and you, Moon, on the valley of Aijalon. And the sun stood still, and the moon stayed her course, until the nation had taken vengeance on their enemies. Is this not written in the book of the righteous? The sun stood still in the midst of heaven, and made no haste to go down for almost a whole day. There was no day like it before or after, that the Lord obeyed the voice of a man, for the Lord fought for Israel. The sun and the moon stopped their course for a day, long enough for Joshua and Israel to prevail in their battle against the Amorites. It was the sun and the moon that stopped their course, not the earth. It is the sun and the moon that orbit the earth and not the other way around. The Bible is a geocentric book. Planet Earth is the center of the galaxy. Planet Earth is the center of the universe. It is called a planet because it is precisely flat. Flat like a plateau. Flat as a plane. And the firmament is its vault. The firmament is its cover. We live in a special place, the only place in the universe where life exists. The only place in the universe where life is conceivable and accommodable. The Bible says that above the vault there are other waters, and that heaven is only a vault that encompasses the earth. Like the roof of a house, the celestial roof, the delimitation, and the natural border. In the consciousness of man, infinity is inconceivable but desirable, because being delimited allows us to think and imagine freely in our reasoning. Being mentally limited constitutes a barrier to imagination, and therefore a mental prison. Perceiving this domain that is the earth as a prison would play on our mental and sensory state. This is why in our schools we are taught the infinity of space as the infinity of the mental state, so that we are open-minded and not closed-minded. Real space is the one that is on Earth and the one that we have invented via cyberspace. Cyberspace is cybernetics, as our consciousness constitutes cyberspace, as well as the web and internet tool. God, when he created the earth, he imagined a garden. He called this earth the Garden of Eden. The first boundaries were land, then they became the ocean, then the ice caps, and finally the space we call the sky. Genesis 1 says, "In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was formless and empty, and darkness was on the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved above the waters. And God said, Let there be light. And there was light. And God saw that the light was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening and there was morning, the first day. And God said, Let there be an expanse in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the expanse, and divided the waters which were under the expanse from the waters which were above the expanse. And it was so. And God called the expanse heaven. And there was evening and there was morning, a second day. And God said, Let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good. And God said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself, upon the earth. And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass, the herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed is in itself, after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening and there was morning, a third day. And God said, let there be lights in the expanse of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days, and for years, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And God made the two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night, and he made the stars. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule the day and the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening and there was morning, the fourth day. And God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the living creature, and let fowl fly above the earth in the firmament of the heaven. And God created great whales, and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly, after their kind, and every winged fowl he created after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, be fruitful, and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let birds multiply on the earth. And there was evening and there was morning, the fifth day. And God said, let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle, and creeping thing, and beast of the earth after his kind. And it was so. And God made the beast of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and every creeping thing of the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his own image, in the image of God created he him, male and female created he them. And God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful, and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves on the earth. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb yielding seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed, it shall be for you meat. And to every beast of the earth, and to every bird of the air, and to every thing that creeps upon the earth, in which there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. And it was so. And God saw everything that he had made, and, behold, it was very good. And there was evening and there was morning, a sixth day. Surah 55, the most merciful, ayat 33 says, O people of jinn and men, if you can go out of the domain of the heavens and the earth, then do so. But you will not be able to go out except with the help of unlimited power. Surah 72, the jinn, ayat 8 and 9 says, we had brushed the sky and found it full of a strong guard and fireballs. We took our place there to listen. But whoever listens now, will find against him a fireball lying in wait. Genesis 11 verse 1 to 9 says, in those days, all men spoke the same language and held the same speech. During their migrations from the rising of the sun, they discovered a vast plain in the land of Shinar and they settled there. They said to one another, come, let us make bricks and bake them in the oven. So they used brick for stone, and bitumen for mortar. Then they said, come, let us build ourselves a city and a tower whose top will reach to heaven, so that our name will be known and we will not be scattered throughout the earth. Then the Lord came down from heaven to see the city and the tower that the men were building. Then he said, behold, the people are one, all speaking one language, and this is what they have begun to do. Now whatever they think, they will do it without hindrance. Let us go down and confuse their language, so that they will not understand one another. So the Lord scattered them abroad from there throughout the earth, and they stopped building the city. Therefore it was called Babel, because there the Lord confused the language of the people of all the earth, and from there he scattered them abroad over all the earth. The sky is an impassable domain in our lifetime. Perhaps the spirit can go to heaven and cross the vault, but the flesh is incapable of doing so. And perhaps even the purpose of astrology and astronauts traveling in orbit is to listen as the jinn listened to what was said in heaven. So rising into orbit could be interpreted as spying on what is said in heaven, to be ready and inform of upcoming events. Space espionage is associated with the jinn who rise to the heavens and hear the prayers and worship of the angels. Space espionage is a way to get closer to God and hear His voice. The space mission is a mission of infiltration and information of what is God's. The space mission, as in the verse of the jinns, allows us to listen to what is said in heaven. Because heaven is precisely that, a border between the living and the spiritual, a barrier between the domain of the merciful and the domain of sinners. For me, heaven remains a domain of contemplation. I contemplate the sky as I watch TV. The mind is free to imagine, especially if this mind does not know that heaven is a limit.